emotionally, financially, long-term health-wise, we know it's a risk factor if individuals in your family have diabetes. And so coming and learning how to eat properly, how to be physically active, and how to look for those risk factors associated with diabetes is important. Because if you can lower your risk for developing a chronic illness, you'll have a better, longer life.
November is National Diabetes Month, and K-State Research and Extension has a program taught by trained educators that's designed specifically for those with prediabetes, type 2 diabetes, and their caregivers and families to help them learn skills needed to promote good health. On today's Sound Living, Dining with Diabetes Online. Sound Living is a weekly public affairs program produced by Research and Extension at Kansas State University. I'm Jeff Wichman. Christina Holmes, Family and Consumer Sciences Specialist for the Southeast Research Extension Office and coordinator of the Dining with Diabetes program, Chelsea Richmond, Nutrition, Food Safety, and Health Agent for the Frontier District, and Franny Eastwood, Nutrition, Food Safety, Health, and Family and Child Development Agent for the Marais District, discuss the weekly online course, which begins November 18th and runs through December 14th, with a follow-up session the week of February 17th. They discuss how it helps people manage diabetes through nutrition and physical activity. Christina, Extension has been offering Dining with Diabetes for quite a while now. Maybe some background on how the program got started and why Extension viewed this as an important project.
So K-State Research and Extension brought the Dining with Diabetes program to Kansas in 2017. We know the rates of diabetes are increasing. We have limitations throughout the system or throughout the state regarding access to education, whether it be transportation issues, financial barriers, or just have locations that offer structured diabetes education opportunities. So through K-State Research and Extension, we've offered the Dining with Diabetes program. That's an opportunity for individuals to go either in person or a virtual opportunity to learn about diabetes, the risk factors, the chronic conditions associated with diabetes, and how to improve your blood sugar levels.
This is something that really, as you mentioned, is becoming more of a growing concern, not only in Kansas, but nationally. And it is something that is very expensive as well.
Absolutely. So estimate is that over 244,000 Kansans have type 2 diabetes. The unfortunate part is 66,000 people in Kansas have diabetes, but they don't know about it. So the Dining with Diabetes program is an opportunity for individuals with diabetes, at risk for diabetes, or maybe it's even their support system to gain education and knowledge to be able to take control of their diabetes.
You mentioned the fact that there are a lot of people that don't know that is undiagnosed. How big of a problem is that, and how can a program like this help someone who maybe be on the verge of it?
So the Center for Disease Control estimates that 1 in 3 people have prediabetes. And then as we talk, 66,000 people in Kansas have diabetes that's not diagnosed. It's an opportunity for prevention and education. So if we can get individuals that have prediabetes to come to this Dining with Diabetes course, they can learn about carbohydrate counting, portion control, physical activity, and the things they can do to reduce their likelihood of developing diabetes. Individuals that have diabetes can attend this course just to learn about what they can do different, but it's also an opportunity for support and engagement so they don't feel alone in this process. So caregivers, family members, support system, it's really important because it's important not to navigate this diabetes process alone. So you can learn how to care for your loved one or how to prepare meals differently so everyone can have healthier lives.
Yeah, one of the things I think I read was that it really impacts the entire family.
Absolutely. So emotionally, financially, long-term health-wise, we know it's a risk factor if individuals in your family have diabetes. And so coming and learning how to eat properly, how to be physically active, and how to look for those risk factors associated with diabetes is important. Because if you can lower your risk for developing a chronic illness, you'll have a better, longer life.
There is an online Dining with Diabetes class coming up starting November 18th, and Chelsea and Franny are leading that. You're actually trained to do this.
Yes, we've both gone through a training to learn all about the course, the ins and outs, and how to teach it best to the people that go online to take it. So we're very excited to be able to offer this. Kind of gives people a chance to work at their own pace in the comfort of their home if they're not able to get to a class.
And it's also provided us an opportunity to work together, and we've co-facilitated a class once a year over the last 3 years together.
These are broken up into 4 2-hour sessions?
It's broken down into 1 session a week for 4 weeks. So again, it just depends on how quickly people want to go through the information. It could take them an hour or two, or they could take longer if they want to go back and review any of the information. So there's 4 weeks with 1 module a week. And then we have a follow-up session several weeks later.
So walk me through Module 1. What type of things do we learn in that first session?
It really, I think, focuses on living well with diabetes, kind of gives an overview about what type 2 diabetes and prediabetes, and it is filled with a lot of educational videos in there as well. There's some meal planning tips that they can walk through, and then there's cooking demonstration videos towards the end of that, diabetic-friendly recipes that are demonstrated as well. And then over the next couple of weeks, they focus in on carbohydrates and sweeteners and really looking on meal planning and what your plate should look like, and then goes into towards the end of kind of how to put that all together. And then that follow-up module Franny was talking about focuses on dining out with diabetes when you're headed out to restaurants and things to think about as well. So portions and things of that nature.
There's really a lot of information that people probably need to know that they are not getting elsewhere. So a great opportunity to learn as they go. And I guess they're also learning with other folks, which can sometimes be nice to have that support.
Absolutely. It's great practical information for anyone. And it's also mentioned when we advertise this class, it's not just for the pre-diabetics or the type 2 diabetics. It can also be great for caregivers or just members of the family that want to support whoever it is that might be struggling with diabetes. And it's really a great, healthy diet for anyone to follow. So it's something that we all can use for good health.
Well, that's kind of the point here, isn't it, is the fact that a lot of what we're talking about is just a healthy diet, but I'm assuming that that's probably a lot of where people want more information is how can I eat healthier, but how can I still enjoy other foods as well?
Absolutely. It's all kind of portion control and moderation, and I think that's what kind of is hit home a lot in a lot of these courses. The other thing that I think is great is that there's some discussion board questions that are sprinkled throughout each week, so you're able to learn from each other in the class as well, too.
Is there a way that you can still do the food online? Because I'm sure that that's one thing people like to see is how are certain things prepared? How can I cut back in some areas to make these healthier meals?
So I think the best thing about online is we have all different videos throughout each week where people can actually watch the videos, see how the recipe is made, kind of see how it comes together. Because it is hard when you don't have that in-person, in-class experience. So the videos are a great tool for online so that people can actually watch the recipe come together and see how they could make it at home. We also each week have office hours where we get online. Other people can get online. We do it via Zoom. We can have conversations and keep the class personal and feel like we're taking this journey with people and helping them learn as they go.
What kind of questions do you typically get? I'm assuming that you probably get a lot of the same questions over and over through these different sessions.
It could be any kind of question. Sometimes it's just simple carbohydrate questions. Other times it's trickier. With diabetes, everyone has a different journey, and it can be so different from person to person. So we really try to personalize where people are at, whether they're still in the pre-stages or whether they've been living with this for years and years. And of course, everyone's on different medications and working with their different doctors. So we really work with people on the food side to help with the basic education. And then, of course, recommend that if they have more technical medication questions and things of those nature, that they speak more with their doctor and their healthcare provider.
Would I be right in assuming that this is something that they will need to kind of follow this plan? So this is kind of lifelong learning?
I think it is a lifelong learning, a lifelong process. And I think also having those support people around you as well is important.
We're looking for that balance that keeps the sugar where it should be?
Absolutely.
Yes. And a balance there also with some physical activity in there as well, too. And that's another key that is also highlighted in each of those modules because we know that that's an important piece, just like for everyone, that's an important piece of that.
Thinking there's maybe a lot of baby steps involved here where we're making some small changes that add up big at the end?
Definitely small changes. As most of us have learned along the way, if you try to make big changes fast, it's usually too much, whether you're diabetic or not, no matter what you're working on. So those small changes, those SMART goals where we can be specific and measure them, and making those small changes so that once you have a little bit of success, you build on that each week.
I'm assuming that's the same with the exercise portion as well?
Absolutely. Yeah. Starting small. You're not going to run a marathon starting out, but just if it's getting that maybe 10 minutes of activity, if you've been sedentary and not doing anything, just starting out small, those small steps make a big difference and they build into a bigger thing. So absolutely. Takes a little bit to build a habit.
What do you see from maybe the beginning, the first session, to what may be as part of the follow-up? What kind of changes do you see in the people individually?
I think just overall confidence, better knowledge of the basics of diabetes, and that helps people with their confidence. It helps them with the confidence of planning menus, building meals. And then, as Chelsea mentioned, in that last module, they're eating out. And as we all know, if you have any type of food restriction, eating out can be really tough. And so I think just we're seeing people's confidence build every week to the point that they're able to go out and feel confident ordering off a menu no matter what restaurant they're in.
I guess I got to ask because I'm curious now. What is maybe one or two things that you teach when it comes to eating out?
Portion size is big. You know, we all know that a lot of times when you go to a restaurant, the portion sizes are 2 or 3 meals instead of just one. And so with diabetes, and I think just general health, portion size is so important for weight control, for blood sugar control. So a big one is portion sizes for us and eating out.
I would echo the portion sizes and giving maybe some tips on what to do. Maybe it's taking and splitting that meal and making it into 2 meals or sharing it with a friend. Just some tips on how to deal with those portions. I think that would probably be the big one. So,
do you do kind of an assessment at the beginning to find out what people do know or don't know?
We don't have a formal assessment at the beginning, but we try to really get to know people from the very beginning of the course. We usually do a Zoom before the course even starts. We like to visit with people, see where they're at, and make sure that they understand the platform that we're using, make sure that they're comfortable navigating through the course. We don't expect people to be experts and realize that some people are not super tech savvy, so we want to make sure to support people that want to take the course and meet them wherever they may be.
And the online seems to be working. I think we've probably been doing this since COVID.
Yes, that's where, actually for Franny and I, where that started, where we started teaching those classes out of COVID. So yes. And I think we've had individuals that maybe wouldn't have come to an in-person class and they just felt more comfortable going through an online version. I'm glad we have both options and can do that now. Again, like Franny said, kind of meet people where they're at.
And again, this is for anyone. So how can they find out more information if they need it?
We would love for anyone that wants to know more to call or email either Chelsea or I. I'm down in our Mound City office, which is Lynn County, and my phone number is 913-795-2829. My email is a little bit trickier. It's fmeastwo@ksu.edu. And if anyone wants to reach out, I'm happy to share more about the program with them. Even if they're not able to take it through a class that I'm teaching, I'm happy to help them find more resources.
And I'm in our Frontier District office, and I'm based out of Garnett, and so we cover Anderson, Franklin, and Osage counties. And my office phone number is 785-448-6826. And I have a tricky email as well. There is not a D on the end of my name for my email address, so it's crichmon@ksu.edu.
They can also find information on the Dining with Diabetes website, and I think your contact information might be there as well, along with registration and the registration fee.
Absolutely, yes. The Dining with Diabetes website, there's several ways to get a hold of us. So the Dining with Diabetes website is a great way as well, and I know Christina and her contact information is on there as well, and she's always great to get people to the right spot to where they can either register for a course or find out more about taking a course.
I know you want to probably keep this manageable, but is there a limited space on this or not?
No more than 25, I think, is what we say, but I don't know that we've ever gotten quite to that point, so I think we're probably good.
We just hope that even if you are not struggling with diabetes, if you have a friend or a neighbor, or maybe just want to find out a little bit more about eating healthy, it's a great course to take. So if you're curious at all, check it out. It's not a requirement that you have to have diabetes to take it. So we welcome anyone that wants to learn.
That's Franny Eastwood, Chelsea Richmond, and Christina Holmes with information on an upcoming online Dining with Diabetes course. To learn more, visit kstate.edu/diningwithdiabetes. Sound Living is a weekly public affairs program produced by Research and Extension at Kansas State University. I'm Jeff Wichman, and this is the K-State Radio Network.